Back guys, today I'll be doing compound interest. Let's get started. Now, let's define compound interest. Compound interest is interest calculated on the initial principal, which also includes all of the accumulated interest from previous periods on a deposit or loan. So it is interest that is gained on the principal. But remember, there are times when the compound interest is for 5 years. So it's accumulated interest for 5 years. Now, we use compound interest for a loan. Maybe we made a deposit and we're expecting a return. So those are now this is the compound interest formula. So CI, which I have for compound interest, is the amount gained after, let's say, T years. This is the final amount that we will get after calculation. Now, P is the principal, and the principal is the starting. Maybe it's a deposit. You have deposited $1,000, or maybe it's a loan. You have borrowed $50,000. So this is the principal rate. And if you realize I have rate in decimal. So the rate is the interest rate. What is the interest on the principal? So if you're borrowing, what's the interest rate? If you are depositing, what is the interest rate? Especially for depositing, we would like to know how much interest am I getting if I put it in the bank. T, for how long? How long will this money be there in terms of a deposit? Is it for 5 years? Okay. Or is it for 10 years? Same for the loan. Is it for 5 years? Is it for 10 years? So T is time. N is the number of compounded periods. And I am going to explain this more. So this is the formula that we use. Principal, open bracket, 1 plus interest rate, which is the rate over N, number of compounded periods, and times NT. Now let's talk about compounded periods. Now here I have terms. Compounded period is how is it that the interest is compounded. When I talk about the number of compounded periods, we have to be aware of some terms. We can say compounded annually, which means once a year. Compounded semi-annually means twice a year. Compounded quarterly means 4 times a year. Compounded monthly means 12 times a year. Compounded weekly, 52 times a year. Compounded daily, 365 times a year. Bi-weekly, 26 times a year. And semi-monthly, 24 times a year. Now, this is important because it affects the rate and the time. How is it compounded? So if it is compounded semi-annually, which means semi-annually, 2 times a year, then I will have to divide the rate by 2 and multiply the time by 2. Now, to go in more details, why is it that I have to divide the rate by 2? Remember, if it was 6%, it means that for the entire year, I'll be applying 3% every 6 months. So if I say semi-annually, it means I have to divide this by 2 because it means for the entire year, I'll be applying the rate 2 times. So if I said quarterly, then I would have to divide this by 4 because it means you're applying the rate 4 times for the year. So I divide it because we're going to equally share the rate throughout the year. So if I say semi-annually, just to repeat, it means I divide it by 2. So you're still getting the 6%, but you're getting it into 2 parts. Now, why is it that we multiply number of compound period by time? Well, if I am going to apply this 2 times for 1 year, it means suppose T is 5 and I'm going at 6% semi-annually. How many times am I applying this interest? For 1 year, I'm applying it 2 times because I've divided it into 2. If I'm doing it for 5 years, let's draw 4 additional lines. If I'm applying this for 5 years, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, each year I'm dividing the 6% by 2, so 3% the first half, another 3% the next half. So in the second year, it's going to be the same thing. 3% the first half, 3% the next half, and it continues the third year. 3%, 3%. So every year you're applying 3% to this money. So how many times am I applying it? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're applying it 10 times. So rather than doing this long exhausting way, we just multiply 5 times 2 because we're compounding it semi-annually. So you see 5 times 2. So for the rate, all we need to remember is that R divided by N. So we have the rate divided by the number of compounded periods. And then the time is also being affected. We're multiplied by the number of compounded periods. Let's look at an activity. An investor invests $20,000 at 6% per annum. Find the accumulated value after 4 years if interest is compounded annually. This is the investment, so this is P, R is 6%, T is 4 years, and we're compounded annually, so that means N is equal to 1. So the compound interest, just writing the formula, is equal to principal, open bracket, 1 plus R over N, raised to the NT. So the principal is 20,000, so I will have 20,000, open bracket, 1 plus R is 6%. So I am now going to, remember I said 6% has to be converted to decimal, so I divide it by 100, and I will arrive at 0.06. So rate is 0.06. N, what is N? N is 1 times NT, so that's 1 times T is 4. So we have 20,000, and then 0.06 divided by 1 just gives me 0.06. So 1 plus 0.06 is 1.06. And then 1 times 4 is 4. Now we can enter this into our calculator. So we'll have 20,000 times 1.06 raised to the 4. And what I will have, I'm going to round it off to 2 decimal places, is $25,249.54. And that is the amount I'll have if compounded annually. Let's look at if it's compounded quarterly. Quarterly means N is 4 because the number of compounded period is 4. So in this case, where I have 1, I am going to replace N to be 4. So the only thing that changes is N. So I'll have my 4 here and my 4 right here. Let's see what happens. First, I will be looking inside the bracket. I'll have 0.06 divided by 4. That will give me 0.015. And 4 is 16. So multiplying 4 times 4, that's 16. And I have my 20,000. Now 1 plus 0.015. So I'll have 20,000. And then this will be 1.015 raised to the 16. So now just to calculate this, so I have 20,000 times 1.015 raised to the power 16. And here my answer will be $25,379.71. Now let's look at when it's compounded monthly. So monthly now, n will be equal to 12. So let's look at that. So here I'm just going to replace n to be 12. So I have my 12 right here. Let's divide. So we have 0.06 divided by 12. That is 0.005. So I'll have 1 plus 0.005. And then 12 times 4, that's 48. I have 20,000 here. So rewrite my 20,000. And then 1 plus 0.005, that is 1.005 raised to the 48. So calculating, I have 20,000 times 1.005 raised to the 48, and here I will have 25,409.78. That's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. And if you have a question that you would like to be completed, please let me know. Or if you have a topic that you want to be covered, please let me know by commenting below.